r/NoSleep. Posted by u/FoxscapeArtist. The GPS keeps telling us to turn left. Family road trips are fun. Especially when there's no adults involved. Well, that wasn't entirely true. My oldest cousin Farhan is an adult, technically. He's 22 and a half. And he's always been the most perfect flawless golden child, so of course our parents were okay with him taking the rest of us on a little road trip. Zero parental supervision, just the 4 kids. And the trip itself was a success. We had mounds of fun at the resort. The only downside was that I'm pretty sure my youngest cousin peed in one of the swimming pools while I was right next to him. On purpose, because he thought it was funny. But whatever, we did shower at the end. It was nearing 10 p.m. now, and we'd been on the road home for about an hour. We were supposed to be back by now, but a couple of unexpected flat tires had slowed us down. Our parents admittedly got a little iffy when we let them know. They'd hoped we'd be back by 10. But I was sure we'd be fine. Farhan would take care of us. "Can I have the chips?" Rafia fumbled her arms over my shoulders from the back seat, feeling around for the coveted food. I groaned. "No. I told you I'm not opening the bag yet. I'm saving it for later." "When's later?" "Whenever I get hungry." "Why is it when you get hungry? What about my hunger?" "'Cause the chips are mine. Duh. I brought them." Rafia plopped back in her seat, pouting. I rolled my eyes. 10-year-olds. Tushar, our youngest cousin, giggled at her from his booster seat. "Ha ha. No chips for you." "Shut up, Tushy." "It's Tushar." "Tushy. Tushy. Tushy." "Guys. Shh. Can't hear the GPS." Farhan poked me. "Calm them down." "What? Why me?" "You're the second oldest. You're the deputy. Turn right in 1 mile." The GPS chimed in with a random direction every now and then, but mostly it just felt like we'd been driving forward and forward for miles. Maybe it was just the darkness. We weren't exactly in a very urban area at the moment. All I could see around me were dark, eerie outlines of trees and such. Sometimes we passed fields of crops too, as one does in Bangladesh. There wasn't even any other car near us. Just us, a long winding path, and a fairly cloudless night sky. "Turn right," the GPS piped up. "Alrighty." We drove on straight for a few more minutes. I'd given in and handed Rafia the bag of chips because I couldn't deal with her pestering anymore. She crunched them quietly while Tushar tried to nap. I figured his small 6-year-old body had had enough. The GPS piped up again after like 10 minutes of driving. "Turn left." "Okie dokie." I grabbed a few chips from Rafia and thought maybe I should try and nap too. I wasn't sleepy, but I was majorly bored. We had played stuff like I Spy and 20 Questions on the way here, but at this point we were all pretty sick of car games. "Turn left." Farhan frowned. "There's no turn left where?" I looked at the GPS. The screen was clearly showing a left turn. I looked outside. No left turns. No fork in the road at all, just a straight ahead path. Maybe it's a glitch? Frick. Have we been driving the wrong way? I don't know. Try resetting it. Farhan restarted the device and punched in the address again. The screen flashed up again in our faces and I blinked. "Turn left," it chimed. The route displayed was the same, with a left turn and the non-existent fork in the road. "Where even are we?" Rafia asked. I shrugged. "In between Comilla and Dhaka somewhere. Those are places in Bangladesh, in case you didn't know." I looked at the location on the screen. "Oh no. We're right by those woods everyone says are haunted." Lol. "What?" Rafia shrieked. "Stop scaring her," Farhan muttered. "They're not haunted, Rafia. It's just a dumb story." "Yeah. Try telling that poor missing kid that." Basically there was some big news story a few weeks earlier about a missing kid in this place. 8-year-old boy, dark hair, last seen in a Pikachu shirt and shorts. Ran away from home at night, thought he could stay in the woods and then no one ever found him. They did find his backpack that was dropped around this road, and since then people have been making up stories of haunted woods. If you asked me, maybe he's still lost out there or some animal ate him? Or he got kidnapped. No need to jump to dramatic conclusions. But hey, it was fun to scare little cousins. Rafia was glaring at me now, and I smirked at her in response. "I'm so confused." Farhan scratched his head. Should I turn left? Into the forest? It's not really a forest, Rafia put in. I mean, it is, but over here there's less trees and stuff. And look. There's a small trail. The car would totally fit, right? I don't want to drive the car in there. Look at our surroundings. It's dark and creepy as hell, Farhan replied. What if there's wild animals and stuff? And the trail is for walking, Rafia, I explained. Rafia scowled. So? Maybe it's a shortcut. Maybe it's a quicker way home. The GPS knows better than you. I wanna see the animals, a sleepy Tushar chimed in. Turn left. God, shut up you stupid machine. We get it, I snapped. Rafia and Tushar giggled. Farhan looked lost in thought. Look, how about this? I can go check out the trail. What? I guess it might actually be a road or something that got overgrown by grass? Maybe Rafi is right and it is a shortcut? We all peered out the window at the area. It didn't look like it was ever a road for cars to me. Definitely a hiker's trail at most. Not to mention how eerie and unsettling it looked in the darkness. Surrounded by trees with winding, creepy branches that looked like hands trying to grab you. I didn't like the idea of going in there. I don't think you should go, I murmured. Farhan had already turned on his phone flashlight. I'm not. I'm just gonna shine the light in to make sure we're not missing some hidden road. Okay? He ruffled my hair. Stay in the car. Turn left, said the GPS again. I groaned at first, and then glanced at the machine. Something felt very slightly off about that last turn left. I was about to restart the thing when it piped up again, louder. Turn left. Turn left. Turn left. What the hell? Farhan murmured. He pressed the power button multiple times, but to our surprise, the screen stayed on. Turn left, it said. Turn left. Who is that? Rafia cried. I'd realized why the voice had sounded off earlier. It was no longer the original robotic GPS, at all. It sounded human. Turn left. Turn left. What the fuck? Turn it off. Aisha, try turning it off. Turn left. Turn left. Turn left. It was positively screaming now. Rafia covered her ears while Tushar started whining. I don't like it. Make it stop. What's the matter with it? You need to turn left right now. We stared at the machine in horror. I don't know a whole lot about how technology works, but I'm pretty damn sure they aren't programmed to say stuff like that. Turn left right now. Turn left right now, it shrieked, the voice getting more and more hoarse. Something about the urgency in it was getting to me. I blinked a few times. Was that fear I detected? Is it haunted? It's the ghost from the haunted woods. It's gonna get us, Rafia cried. Turn left, Tushar yelled. Just turn. Make it be quiet. I'm not going in the... A wild animal can't be worse. Turn left. Turn left right now. Farhan turned left. The car stumbled through the grass and rocks and loudly screeched to a stop in the middle of the trees, and a cold silence settled around us. Nobody said anything for a few seconds. I tried to slow my breathing and looked at the cursed GPS screen. It stopped. Tushar's small voice squeaked from behind us. Farhan turned around. Are you guys okay? He said gently. Rafia and Tushar nodded, looking scared out of their lives. I wanted to hug them so bad. Farhan nodded. Okay. It's okay. We'll get out of here soon. I noted his subtle expression change. From comfort to confusion. I turned around too. As did Rafia and Tushar. We all stared out the back window of the car, towards the street we had just swerved out from. I frowned at first, not sure what I was seeing. It was dark enough anyway, and now even our headlights weren't there. We only had the moonlight to go off of. What was that? Some kind of shape on the street? A shadow? Clack. 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 What the hell? Clack. Clack. It was coming from the street. With every clack the sounds got closer and closer. Tushar and Rafia hugged each other while I grabbed Farhan's arm. Clack. 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 Closer, closer, and then it finally came into view. I say it because to this day, I don't know what it was. All I know is that it was big, deformed, and had giant claws dragging along on the ground. At least, the ones on its front limbs were dragging on the ground. The claws on its legs, I assume, were the culprits behind the clacking noise. They smacked against the ground in every step it took. Nobody said a word. It moved into full view of us, and I thought I could see something dripping off its entire body. Slime? Blood? The drops made little splashing noises as they slithered off its grotesque figure and fell on the concrete. Ah! A sickening moan escaped its mouth. Rafia stumbled backwards and Farhan winced. Tushar clutched his stuffed giraffe as hard as he could, but none of us looked away from the creature. Ah! Thick fluid was sliding out of its mouth in mounds. I was suddenly beyond grateful it was dark. I had no desire to have a clear view of whatever the fuck that was. I dimly made out the silhouette of teeth, large, jagged bits that could have easily ripped my flesh apart. It let out another awful moan, and then clack, clack, clack. It was moving forward. Clack, 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 clack. I thought I heard Farhan finally start breathing again. Tushar seemed to loosen his grip on the giraffe, and Rafia sat upright. Clack, clack. None of us made any noise until the last clack had died out. Even afterward, for a few seconds, nobody spoke. Recalculating. I nearly jumped out of my skin, and all three of my cousins did too. I almost laughed and turned back around to the now welcoming bright screen of the GPS. Proceed to the route, it said, the usual robotic monotone back now. The fork in the road it was showing earlier was gone. Now it only showed the car in the woods, just slightly far off from the street. Proceed to the route, it said again. Rafia giggled very slightly, and even I cracked a smile. Farhan exhaled in relief. I never imagined I'd be so happy to hear the drab robot voice. Proceed to the route, said Tushar quietly, and smiled too. I am, buddy. Gotta back out first. We backed out of the forest and as per the instructions, proceeded to the route. Farhan situated the car on the street again. Rafia finished the last of the chips and handed me the bag, noticing something in the process. Who's that? She asked. What? Who? In the rectangle mirror. She pointed at the rearview mirror and I looked. A little boy of about 8 was looking at us through the car's back window. Dark hair and a Pikachu shirt. His skin and eyes looked cold and dead, but for some reason, I wasn't scared. The child smiled, and a familiar voice we'd heard earlier from a certain GPS floated around us. Turn left. I'm glad you listened. I'm glad we listened too, little fella.